Picture this, a lavish Manhattan hotel suite buzzing with stylists, assistants, and publicists running around like it's mission control before a royal landing. Meghan's by the mirror, hair flawless, her makeup team hovering like butterflies, every brushstroke aimed at perfection. She calls it their return to grace. Harry's pacing by the window, phone in hand, half grinning at the glittering New York skyline. The city that never sleeps, right? But tonight, it's their night. The plan? To show the world that the Sussex name still had that royal oomph. They were guests of honor at the NYC Humanitarian Awards, there to receive a glowing recognition for their charitable work. Cameras would flash, applause would echo, and headlines would sing their praises. Everything was choreographed down to the tiniest detail. The wardrobe, the security, the limo route, and of course, the flight. But just when the champagne mood was peaking, the phone rang. A representative from the awards committee, voice polite but firm, delivered a blow wrapped in manners. "We're sorry, but your request for a private jet can't be accommodated." Boom. Just like that. No explanation, no negotiation, just no. For a couple used to velvet ropes and red carpet privilege, the word no wasn't just surprising, it was an insult. Harry's face went red. Meghan froze mid-glam. To them, it wasn't about the jet, it was about respect, recognition, the acknowledgement of who they still believed they were, global royalty. But this time, the world didn't bow. To really understand why that rejection hit so hard, we've got to rewind all the way back to Paris. Oh yes, that Paris trip. Everyone whispered that it would be Meghan's grand fashion comeback, her "I'm back, unstoppable and fabulous" moment. She sat front row at Balenciaga, cameras flashing like fireworks, chin tilted with confidence that screamed, "I own this room!" But behind all that sparkle, a chill so sharp you could feel it through the screen. No hugs, no smiles, just those awkward little glances fashion people give when they smell insecurity. The whispers began, soft, slicing, merciless. Word spread that Meghan hadn't even been officially invited. Her outfit, not a custom Balenciaga gift, but borrowed. And yes, the tags were still attached. In that world, borrowed clothes speak volumes. Translation, you're not really one of us. And then came the rumor that turned the air to ice. Meghan had taken a drive through the same tunnel where Princess Diana's life tragically ended. She claimed she didn't know its history. But come on, Meghan always knows the symbolism. To many, it looked like an eerie imitation, a desperate echo of Diana's memory. Not homage, but replication. By the time she left Paris, the cameras still clicked, but the warmth, gone. The applause felt mechanical. The city that once adored Diana seemed to have closed its heart to imitation. So when the NYC Awards came knocking, Meghan saw her shot at redemption. A chance to rewrite the Paris disaster, to remind the world, and maybe herself, that she was still the woman who could command awe without a crown. Every detail mattered. The gown, the entrance, the jet. This wasn't just a night out, this was resurrection. And then that call came. No private jet, no exception. The no echoed like Paris all over again. On paper, the NYC Humanitarian Awards were all about compassion, celebrating people who changed lives without asking for applause. But behind the scenes, the Sussex team treated it more like the Met Gala. Emails flew like confetti, requests upon requests, lighting setups, special bottled water, temperature-controlled rooms. The kicker, a line item asking for their private jet to be sponsored by the event. In plain English, someone else should pay for our flight. Their reasoning was polished. Optics. A commercial flight, they argued, could lead to chaotic situations, cameras, fans, unpredictability. So they claimed a private jet wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity, but the organizers weren't buying it. To them, the whole thing screamed tone deaf. This was a charity event about humility, and now the headliners wanted corporate-funded luxury? It clashed with everything the event stood for. One insider reportedly said, if you want to honor humanitarian work, maybe start by practicing humility. Ouch, that one left a mark. And just like that, the glamorous facade began to crack. What once looked like royal privilege now looked a lot like self-importance. Even New York, the city that loves drama, wasn't signing up to sponsor that. After the rejection, Harry's team went into overdrive. Their defense? Safety concerns. They cited the chaos in Paris, paparazzi swarms, flashing lights, and the media storm after the Balenciaga show. They painted Meghan as a woman hunted through the streets, but insiders who were actually there told a different story. That chaos? Not random. It was choreographed. Her route was public. The cameras had been tipped off. It looked less like a spontaneous frenzy and more like a staged moment gone wrong, a PR stunt that backfired. Even the infamous drive through that tunnel, the one that reignited comparisons to Diana, was allegedly filmed. Some say without Meghan's knowledge, but those who know her rolled their eyes. She knew, they whispered. Of course she knew. That's what made the New York jet demand sting even more. It wasn't about privacy. It was about control. control over how they're seen, how they're photographed, how the narrative unfolds. And when the awards committee said no, they weren't just rejecting a flight request. They were rejecting that control. Inside the foundation's offices, the discussion was blunt. The Sussexes brought attention. Yes, cameras, coverage, headlines. But they also brought controversy, scrutiny, and drama. So when the private jet request hit the boardroom table, the mood was unanimous. Enough was enough. One executive allegedly asked, "If we cover their travel, what message does that send to the honorees, the ones who show up expecting nothing in return?" That was it. Decision made. No jet, no special exceptions. The event would go on, dignity intact. To the public, nothing seemed off. But behind the Sussex curtain, it was chaos. Calls, damage control, PR gymnastics. The team scrambled to spin it. "Oh, it's just a scheduling mix-up," they said. "A misunderstanding." But everyone on the inside knew. This wasn't logistics. This was a power shift. The world was quietly reminding them. Fame fades, but humility lasts. There's something heartbreakingly ironic about it all. Harry left the royal family searching for freedom, yet somehow he's still chasing permission. Permission to be seen, to matter, to belong. That's why this no hit harder than most. It wasn't about the jet, it was about what it symbolized. A door quietly closing. Since stepping down, Harry's fought battles everywhere. Tabloids, the British establishment, even the institutions that once protected him. He's painted it as a fight for justice, for privacy. But critics see something else, a man who doesn't quite know how to live without privilege. He swapped castles for California mansions, crowns for Netflix contracts, and royal duties for brand deals. But deep down, the expectations stayed royal. That's the cruel truth behind the NYC jet debacle. It wasn't personal. It was reality reminding them that entitlement doesn't fly anymore. And so, when the big night finally arrived, there was no royal aircraft slicing through the clouds, no grand motorcade rolling down Fifth Avenue, just a discreet black SUV blending into Manhattan traffic. Inside, two silhouettes sat in silence. Once they were the world's golden couple, photographed, adored, untouchable. Now, just another pair driving through the city lights, swallowed by the same world they once ruled. Their names still open doors, but fewer than before. Their smiles still flash across headlines, but for different reasons. It's not hate anymore. It's fatigue. The world has simply moved on. That jet, the one that never took off, became more than a headline. It became a metaphor for privilege mistaken as purpose, for fame mistaken as virtue, for a story that's starting to feel old. They've told the world their version of events, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the bravery. But the world is starting to see another version. Quieter, lonelier, stripped of the fairy tale gloss. Because when the applause fades and the spotlight shifts, there's only one question left to ask. Who are you when the cameras stop rolling? And as that question lingers in the air like a sigh, one truth stands clear. The Sussexes aren't running out of headlines. They're running out of second chances. The jet stayed grounded. But maybe, so did they. Maybe